Let's start by dismantling a myth. A myth you have built your life upon. You believe your greatest strength, your armor against the chaos of this world, is your willingness to be agreeable, to be pleasant, to be the one who never rocks the boat, who absorbs the slights with a strained smile, who always puts what others want ahead of what you know, in the quiet of your own mind, you need. You call this being a nice guy. You think it is a virtue. You are wrong. What you are doing is not practicing kindness, it is performing a role. And that performance is a cage of your own design. Look at the man in the reflection of the high window at night. The one after the long day of nodding, of accommodating, of saying yes when every instinct screamed no. Do you recognize him? Or is he just a pleasant mask, smooth of all defining edges, polished to a blank and shiny finish? That mask, that is your nice guy facade. It is not you. It is a persona, crafted for one purpose, transactional safety. You offer your compliance, your endless flexibility, your suppressed desire, and in return you hope to purchase what? Universal approval? Guaranteed affection? A life free from conflict, from rejection, from the terrifying responsibility of having to stand for something, for yourself? This is the first and greatest deception. You have confused kindness, which is a strength, a choice made from a position of wholeness, with this strategic, fragile niceness, which is a tactic born of fear. Authentic kindness is unconditional. It asks for nothing. It is the hand offered in the darkness because it is the right thing to do, not because it expects the hand to be held in return. It is a beacon. What you are doing, it is a calculation, a covert bargain. I will listen to your problems for an hour, so you will see my value. I will never challenge your opinion, so you will never leave me. I will shrink myself to fit the space you have allotted, so you will let me stay in it. This facade is a suit you put on every morning, thinking it will protect you. But it does not protect you. It suffocates you. Behind that pleasant smile, your true voice goes unheard, even by you. Your own opinions, your passions, your angers, your deep and rightful needs, they are all filed down, one by one, to maintain the smooth, inoffensive contour of the mask. You are not avoiding conflict. You are committing a slow, quiet violence against your own soul. You are erasing yourself to become a ghost, a pleasant, helpful ghost that no one truly sees, and therefore, no one can ever truly reject or ever truly embrace. This performance requires constant energy. It is a psychological patrol you are always on, scanning every room, every conversation, every face for signs of disapproval. Was that joke acceptable? Did I help enough? Do they like me now? It is an exhausting vigil, and for what? To be seen as nice, a bland, generic compliment that tastes of nothing. Is that the legacy you wish for? To be remembered as nice? Or do you wish to be known as something? As a man of conviction, of passion, of quiet, unshakable strength that does not need to announce itself, because it is simply undeniably there. The world does not respect the mask. It may use it, it may find the mask convenient, but it does not respect it. Deep down you know this. You can feel the hollow ring of the praise you work so hard to earn. You can sense the distance your niceness creates, a barrier of pleasantry that prevents any real connection. Because connection requires truth. It requires the risk of showing a jagged edge, a contradictory thought, a flawed in human desire. Your facade offers only the smooth, sterile surface of a mannequin, and no one falls in love with, or fights alongside, or truly trusts a mannequin. So tonight, as you stand before that window, I want you to do one thing. I want you to look past the reflection of the agreeable man. Look into the darkness behind the glass. In that darkness, I want you to ask yourself a question, not of strategy, but of integrity. What is the cost of this performance? And more importantly, who is the man paying it? The cost is you. You have learned to wear the mask, to perform. But a performance expects applause. It demands a specific outcome. And this is where the quiet poison seeps in. This is where your niceness stops being a mere costume and becomes a weapon you turn, slowly and most viciously, upon yourself. You have created a system, a silent, unspoken accounting that governs every smile, every favor, every suppressed truth. You call it being selfless. I call it by its true name, a covert contract. This contract is the hidden engine of your despair. You have an internal ledger. On one side, you list your deposits, the time you sacrificed without being asked, the compliment you gave that felt hollow on your tongue, the boundary you didn't set, the opinion you swallowed, the desire you pretended didn't exist. Each entry is made with a meticulous, silent expectation. You are not simply doing a thing. You are investing, and on the other side of that ledger, you expect a return. You expect her affection. You expect his loyalty. You expect their respect. You expect the world to finally give you what you believe you have now earned through this steady, grinding currency of compliance. But here is the fatal flaw in your accounting. The other party never signed the contract. They are living their lives, making their choices, completely unaware of the debt you have assigned to them. They did not ask you to martyr your Saturday. They did not demand your silent agreement. They were simply living while you were secretly, feverishly building a case for your own eventual reward. So what happens when she smiles at you, but it's just a smile, not the declaration of love your ledger demands? What happens when he takes your help, says a casual thanks, and walks away, not into the lifelong partnership you secretly inscribed? The balance sheet in your mind goes red. The contract has been breached, and the emotion that floods you is not confusion, not sadness. It is a cold, hard, righteous resentment. You feel cheated. You feel used. You think, after all I've done, this is what I get? The anger is real, but it is misdirected. You are not angry at them. You are furious with the universe for not honoring a deal you made in the shadows of your own mind, a deal to which they were never a consenting party. This resentment is the toxin that leaks from every broken covert contract. It stains your kindness with bitterness. It makes your favors feel heavy, laden with unspoken obligation. People will sense this. They may not understand the ledger, but they will feel the weight of your expectation. They will feel the hook hidden inside your generosity. And they will pull away, not because they are ungrateful, but because human instinct recoils from emotional manipulation, even the kind you are practicing on yourself. Your entire life becomes a series of these silent, failed transactions. You are a businessman in a marketplace where you are the only one trading, inventing a currency no one else recognizes. You end up bankrupt of spirit, holding a fistful of worthless IOUs written in your own hand, blaming the customers for not buying what you never truly offered, a genuine, freely given gift. Worse still, this ledger prevents you from ever experiencing real gratitude, yours or anyone else's. When you do something for someone, you are not present in the act. You are already in the future, anticipating the payoff. You cannot feel the simple warmth of giving because you are too busy calculating the return. And when someone thanks you for a small, genuine thing, you barely hear it because in your mind, it doesn't cover the massive, invisible debt they already owe you for all the things you never said, never claimed, ever demanded. This is the secret destruction. You are building a prison of entitlement from the bricks of your own self-sacrifice. You believe you are accumulating credit, but you are only accruing bitterness. You think you are earning but you are only teaching yourself to despise the very people you claim to care for failing to pay a price they never agreed to. So tonight, I want you to open that ledger. Look at the entries. The I did this, so she should. The I always, so they must. See the quiet insanity of it. The utter loneliness of a game where you are both player and scorekeeper, perpetually losing. Then take that ledger and burn it. Let the ashes be the only remains of that silent, suffocating contract. Stop keeping score in a game no one else is playing. This ledger of yours, this silent contract, it has a primary clause, a foundational term you agreed to without ever reading the fine print. The clause is this: in order to secure the payment, the approval, the affection, the peace, you must first offer up the collateral. You must put yourself on the bargaining table. Not a piece, not an interest, the whole entity, your needs, your desires, your boundaries, your voice, your very essence. This is the true cost of the transaction, and you have been paying it, installment by installment, until the account is nearly empty. This is the erosion of self. Think of the last time you were asked, what do you want to do? The restaurant, the movie, the way a Saturday unfolds. How quickly does your mind, trained by years of this negotiation, leap past your own genuine desire and begin to scan, to calculate what they might prefer, what would be least objectionable, what choice would best maintain your image as the easygoing one, the agreeable one. That moment of hesitation, that internal scramble, that is not politeness. That is the sound of a man becoming a ghost in his own life. You are so practiced at evacuating your own preferences that when given the chance to state one, you find only a quiet, panicked void. You have moved out. You are a tenant in your own skin, and the landlord. D is everyone else's potential opinion. This is how it happens. Not in grand, dramatic gestures of self-sacrifice, but in 10,000 tiny surrenders. The joke you don't make because it might not land. The opinion you don't share because it might cause a flicker of disagreement. The project you abandoned because someone hinted it was foolish. The need you never voice, for space, for help, for simple respect, because to voice it would be to risk being seen as difficult, as demanding, as not nice. With each of these tiny surrenders, you are not being generous. You are committing an act of self-betrayal. You are sanding down a unique, defining edge of your character to become a smooth, generic stone that fits comfortably in every pocket and is valued by none. Your boundaries, those invisible lines that define where you end and the world begins, are the first to be offered up. A boundary is a no that makes your yes meaningful, but you believe a no is a threat to your entire contract, so you let the no die in your throat. You work late again when you promised yourself you wouldn't. You lend money you know will not come back. You absorb disrespect with a weak smile. Each time, you are not just being taken advantage of by the world. You are the active participant in your own dissolution. You are teaching people exactly how little you value yourself, and they are simply following the curriculum you wrote. And what grows in the space where yourself once stood? A hollow, echoing chamber of resentment, yes, but also a profound and crippling sense of inauthenticity. You look in the mirror, and you do not know the man looking back. You have become a collection of reactions, a mirror held up to the expectations of others. You have no core because you traded it piece by piece for the temporary comfort of conflict avoidance. You are a weather vane, spinning in the winds of others' moods, never a compass pointing true north. This loss is not theoretical. It is felt in the fatigue that comes not from hard work but from the endless psychic labor of maintaining a fiction. It is felt in the quiet envy you have for those who seem to move through the world with a kind of unapologetic solidity, who can say no without their world ending, who can state a preference as if it matters. That envy is the ghost of your own self, rattling its chains, reminding you of what you bartered away. You have mistaken this erosion for nobility. You call it being selfless. But you cannot give from an empty vessel. What you are calling selflessness is, in truth, self-abandonment. And a man who has abandoned himself has nothing real to offer anyone else. He can only offer the performance, the facade, and the heavy hidden ledger of expectation that comes with it. He cannot love, because love requires a self to do the loving. He cannot lead, because leadership requires a core of conviction. He cannot even truly connect, because connection requires two whole beings meeting, not one whole being and a pleasant, accommodating void. You are disappearing, not in a blaze of glory or sacrifice, but in a whisper of endless accommodation. Every time you silence a truth, you erase a line from the text of your own life. Soon, the page will be blank, and you will stand there, a polite, helpful, empty man, wondering when exactly you vanished and why no one seems to have noticed. The mask has become your face, but beneath it, The bones of the man you could be are still there. They have just been buried. The excavation will be painful. It will require you to say no and feel the terrifying silence that follows. It will require you to state a preference and risk the disapproval you have spent a lifetime fleeing. It will require you to rebuild boundaries from the rubble. 1. Difficult, awkward. This is not acceptable to me at a time. Start tonight with one thing, one small true thing you want or do not want, and choose it. Not for the ledger, not for the contract. Choose it for the man who is still buried but who is worth digging for. Choose it for the only approval that can ever save you, your own. So you have erased yourself. You have traded your needs for a ledger of invisible debts. But human emotion is not a currency. It cannot be deleted from the ledger. It is a force. And when you force it down, when you deny it a voice, it does not disappear. It festers. It mutates. It gathers in the dark places within you, pooling into a toxic reservoir. Every slight swallowed. Every yes that should have been a roar of no. Every desire stifled to maintain the pleasant fiction. It all goes into that reservoir. You call this being calm, being in control. You are wrong. You are building a bomb, a resentment bomb. This is not anger. Anger is a fire. It can be clean. It can burn hot and bright. And when it passes, it can leave clarity in the ashes. What you are cultivating is something colder, more insidious. Resentment is a chemical spill. It seeps. It poisons the groundwater of your spirit. It turns your memories bitter, colors your perceptions with a sickly green tint of victimhood. You walk through your life surrounded by people you secretly, quietly despise, not for what they have done, but for the payments they have failed to make on a contract they never saw. And this poison must go somewhere. It cannot stay contained forever in that internal vault. It will leak. It always leaks. You believe you have hidden it behind your pleasant smile, but you are not as good an actor as you think. It leaks out in the passive-aggressive comment, the compliment that carries just enough edge to cut. You're so brave to wear that. It leaks out in the long-suffering sigh you make just loud enough to be heard as you do the chore you never agreed to do. It leaks out in the sudden, inexplicable coldness you show someone who has, according to your hidden ledger, fallen behind on their payments. They are confused. They ask what's wrong. And you, the master of the covert contract, say the 3 words that are the anthem of your own prison: it's fine. Nothing. But it is not nothing. It is everything. It is the unspoken indictment of a world that has failed to reward your self-betrayal. And when this slow leak is not enough, when the pressure in the vault becomes too great, the bomb detonates. This is the explosion, the sudden shocking rage over something small, a dish left out, a thoughtless remark, a canceled plan. It is disproportionate. It is terrifying, mostly to you, because in that moment, all the unexpressed anger from 100 other betrayals, all the rage at yourself for allowing them, comes roaring out through this one tiny trigger. You are not angry about the dish. You are angry about the life you have built out of dishes you never wanted to wash. And afterwards, you are ashamed. You scramble to put the mask back on, to apologize, to be nice again, stuffing the shrapnel back into the container, making it even more unstable for next time. Or worse, the bomb does not explode outward. It implodes. The resentment, with no other target, turns inward. It becomes the fuel for a slow, smoldering depression, a gray fatigue that blankets everything. It becomes the voice that whispers to you in the quiet hours, see? You do everything for them. And this is what you get. You are a fool. You are invisible. This is self-loathing wearing the mask of martyrdom. You grow cynical. You see kindness in others as naivety, assertiveness as arrogance. Your heart, meant to be a place of strength, becomes a fortified vault of bitter receipts. You are no longer a man living a life. You are a silent accountant in a war you declared alone. And here is the cruelest irony of your bomb. It proves the very thing you feared. You feared that if you showed your true feelings, your anger, your disagreement, your needs, people would reject you. So you buried them, and now, in their mutated, poisoned form as resentment and passive aggression, they cause the rejection you feared. Your explosions push people away. Your coldness pushes people away. Your cynical, victimized energy repels the very connection you crave. The bomb, built to protect the facade, ends up destroying the possibility of anything real. You become the source of your own isolation. You are sitting on this bomb every day. You feel its weight, the dull ache in your chest, the constant low-grade irritation, the exhaustion that sleep does not fix. That is the fuse burning shorter. You are not at peace. You are a man in a state of permanent quiet siege against himself in a world he is taught to take him for granted. This cannot be managed. It must be disarmed. And disarming it is not about learning to manage your anger. It is about stopping the act that creates the poison in the first place. It requires the courage you have been avoiding, the courage to feel the clean, hot fire of a boundary in the moment and to speak it. The courage to say, "I disagree," while you still can say it calmly. The courage to state a need before it curdles into a demand. It means letting the steam out of the valve in small, honest puffs, rather than welding the valve shut until the whole boiler explodes. Stop building the bomb. Stop depositing your dignity into that toxic fund. Let the resentment you have already stored be a lesson, not a life sentence. The next time you feel that cold, slick feeling of bitterness rising, do not ask, "Why are they doing this to me?" Ask the more dangerous, honest question. What contract have I just broken with myself? What truth did I just bury alive? The explosion is coming. The only question is whether it will destroy what remains of your spirit, or if you will choose now to dismantle it with the terrifying tools of honesty. Now we come to the great bitter irony. The final proof that your entire strategy is not just painful, but self-defeating. You have performed the role. You have kept the ledger. You have eroded yourself and stored the poison. And you have done it all for a reason: to be loved, to be respected, to be chosen, to be seen as safe, as good, as the obvious, reliable choice. But the universe has a cruel sense of justice. It does not reward the performance, it rewards the substance. And your performance is secretly repulsive. This is the repulsion paradox. Consider what you are broadcasting, not with your words, which are carefully chosen to please, but with your energy, with the 1,000 unspoken signals that human instinct reads in a heartbeat. You broadcast neediness, a deep, silent hunger for external validation that hangs on you like a weight. People, especially those you seek to attract, can smell neediness. It is not alluring. It is a burden. It whispers, "I am not enough on my own, and I need you to complete me." That is not a gift. It is a job application, and no one falls in love with a resume. You broadcast a lack of conviction. By never taking a stand, by molding your opinions to fit the room, you become a man of no substance. You are agreeable wallpaper. Interesting people are drawn to edges, to contours, to beliefs that might spark friction, because friction creates heat, and heat creates light. You offer only the mild ambient temperature of approval. You mistake this for being nice. They experience it as being boring, as being nothing. You say, "Connect with nothing." You cannot build a life upon a void. Most damningly, broadcast a lack of self-respect. You have shown, through your endless flexibility, that your own boundaries, time, and desires are negotiable, that they have the lowest priority. And here is a hard truth: people will treat you exactly as you teach them to treat you. If you show them your boundaries are made of tissue paper, they will blow through them, not because they are evil, but because you have indicated it is allowed. And then, in the hidden ledger of your mind, you resent them for it. But they are only following the map you drew. A man who does not respect himself teaches the world to disrespect him. And respect is the non-negotiable foundation of any real relationship, romantic, professional, or personal. This is why you watch from the shadows as others, who seem less nice, who say no, who have opinions, who sometimes cause minor friction, are chosen, are promoted, are loved, and it fills you with a confused bitterness. I am nicer, you think. I am more helpful. But you are not being selected for the mission, and you cannot understand why. It is because you have confused being pleasing with being desirable. They are not the same. One is about servitude, the other is about strength. In your pursuit of universal safety, you have made yourself unsafe. Unsafe for depth. Because a partner, a true friend, needs to know that you are a real person, that you can hold your ground, that if they lean on you, you will not simply collapse into agreement, but will offer the solid, unwavering strength of your own truth. They need to know that your yes means something because your no is also possible. Your constant, fragile yes is worthless. It is the agreement of a hostage, not a partner. And in the professional world, this is just as deadly. Leaders do not follow pleasers. I trust those with conviction, those who can argue a point, who can push back with respect, who own their expertise without apology. The nice guy is stuck in middle management forever, overworked and underpromoted because he is seen as reliable but not decisive, as helpful but not leadership material. He is a tool, not an architect. And he resents this too, never seeing that his reliable agreeableness is the very cage that traps him. Your fear of rejection has engineered the very rejection you feared. By trying to be everything to everyone, you have become nothing to anyone, including yourself. The pleasant mask does not invite intimacy, it prevents it. Intimacy requires risk. It requires the vulnerability of showing a real face, with real flaws and real edges. You offer only the smooth, impenetrable surface of the mask. You are offering a screen on which others can project, not a person with whom they can connect. And when the projection fades, as it always does, they are left with the void. And they walk away, not because you were not nice enough, but because you were not real enough. This paradox is the final, elegant trap of your own making. You built a shelter of niceness to protect yourself from the storm of rejection, but you built it without a foundation, without walls of substance, and now you sit inside, cold and alone, wondering why no one will join you in a structure that cannot support the weight of even one real human soul. The mask is your prison, and the world is not repulsed by you. It is repulsed by the empty, hungry cell you have mistaken for a welcome mat. It is waiting for the man inside to break out. So now you see the prison. You have felt the walls, the facade, the ledger, the hollow self, the stored poison, the bitter rejection. You have walked its perimeter in the dark for years. The question that remains is not one of analysis. It is a question of choice. Will you die in this cell of your own making, or will you pick the lock? The lock is not on the door. The lock is your belief that this performance is your only option. It is not. There is a path out. But it is not the path of becoming a different kind of performer, a bad boy, a loud man, a hollow shell of aggression. That is just another mask, facing the opposite direction but just as false. The path is not through another role. The path is out of performance altogether. It is the path to integrated strength, to authenticity. Authenticity is not about being liked. It is about being real, and being real is the hardest mission you will ever undertake, because it requires you to disarm every system you have built for survival. It means replacing the desperate strategy of niceness with the quiet, unshakable power of integrity. This is not a single act. It is a practice, a new discipline, and it is built on 4 pillars. The first pillar is boundaries, not the resentful, explosive boundaries of a man whose bomb is detonating, but clear, calm, preemptive lines drawn in the sand of your own soul. A boundary is not an attack, it is a statement of fact. This is acceptable to me. This is not. It is saying I cannot do that without a 5-minute apology that begs for forgiveness for your own existence. It is understanding that a no delivered with calm respect is more powerful than 1,000 resentful yeses. Start small. It will feel like you are speaking a foreign language. Your voice may shake. Do it anyway. Every time you uphold a small boundary, you are pouring concrete into the foundation of your self-respect. You are teaching the world and yourself that you occupy space. The second pillar is expression. The clean, timely expression of what is true for you, your wants, your disagreements, your inconvenient observations. This is about letting the steam out of the valve before it becomes poison. It means saying, I see it differently. in a meeting, not just nodding along and then complaining in the parking lot. It means saying, I would like to go here on a date, not just whatever you want. It means expressing a need before it becomes a desperate, unspoken demand. This is not about being confrontational. It is about being present. It is about contributing your piece to the mosaic of reality, rather than just mirroring back what you think others want to see. Your opinion stated without aggression but with clarity is a gift. It makes you visible. The third pillar is action from genuine kindness. This is the recalibration of your entire moral compass. You must learn to act from a place of fullness, not lack. Ask yourself before any act of giving, am I doing this freely, because I choose to, or am I doing this to purchase approval, to manipulate an outcome? If it is the latter, do not do it. Stop. The kindest thing you can do for everyone, including yourself, is to cease the manipulative charity. Let your kindness be a choice, not a currency. Let it be unexpected, with no ledger entry attached. This kind of kindness is light. It carries no weight of expectation. It is the only kindness that is truly yours. The fourth pillar is the embrace of discomfort. This is the fuel for the entire journey. You must make a pact with discomfort. You have spent your life running from the discomfort of conflict, of rejection, of not being liked in the moment. You must now turn and walk toward it. Understand that the sharp, hot feeling of social risk, of stating a boundary, of expressing a divergent thought, is not a sign you are doing something wrong. It is the feeling of your authentic self breaking through the calcified shell of the persona. It is growing pains. The nice guy mask was a painkiller. You must learn to live without it, to feel the raw weather of real human interaction. It will be terrifying, and then it will be freeing. This is the integration, bringing the buried parts of you, the parts that can say no, the parts that have anger, the parts that want things, back into the light of your conscious life, not to rule you, but to inform you, to make you whole. A man of integrated strength is not constantly angry. He has a relationship with his anger so it does not own him. He is not perpetually agreeable. He is selective, making his agreements meaningful. He does not seek to be needed. He seeks to be respected. And from that place of self-respect, real respect from others can finally genuinely grow. You do not need a new mask. You need the courage to stand face first in the world without one, to let your scars show, to let your convictions stand, to be the cause of effects in your own life, not just the effect of other people's causes. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming, for the first time, who you actually are. The man in the shadows has to step into the light, not the blinding light of the audience's approval, but the stark, revealing light of his own truth. The mission begins not with a grand gesture, but with a single, silent decision in the dark, the decision to end the performance. The lock clicks open from the inside. Now, walk out.